It's a flashpoint city in the Kurds' fight against ISIS, Kobani on the Turkish border. And while a deal at the start of this year to integrate Kurdish-led SDF forces into the new Syrian army and police has often stalled or been fraught, our own Wassim Nasr earlier this month went for himself to see Kobani. Wassim Nasr joins us. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Wassim, you went to that northern city from Syria's second city, Aleppo.
Yes, exactly. As we can see on the map, I left Aleppo to Manbij, and then I went through the Euphrates and got all the way, if you can see
Euphrates
on the map,
River.
Euphrates River, all the way to Kobane. And why is it important? Because it's on the M4 highway. And this is a highway that was really heard about during the war because many main battles happened on this highway. And when you look at the footage that I filmed crossing the Euphrates, maybe we can see it, you see that it was a war zone a few months ago. It was still a war zone, and we can see this footage. Here I am crossing the Euphrates, and you see the destroyed bridges, and fighting among Syrian Democratic Forces and governmental forces occurred here, exactly here, a few months back. This bridge was still closed, actually. And if you look at the hills, you see the white dots. This is the front line or the observation points of the Syrian Democratic Forces. We have another footage where we see it more clearly. We'll see actually, and why is it important? Because those observation positions, this is the front line. And actually, more than 5,000 Syrian Democratic Forces, Kurdish forces are still deployed on those positions. And it is important because as we crossed, before us, Syrian security forces crossed and went all the way to Kobani to start the deal and to merge with Kurdish police forces, while still at this point, while we are talking, negotiation about the armed forces, meaning the army, are still ongoing.
And this is something that's began at the beginning of the year, and as you're seeing the process beginning to unfold, and while in Kobani, you scored quite the photo op.
Exactly. We have a photo of me actually talking with the head of the security of all the Kobani Ain al-Arab region, Majd al-Sheikh, that we see here in green, but also with one of the most important security officers of the Asayish, meaning the Kurdish forces in the town. And this is quite something to have them together. And I talked to them one by one and also together. And actually, I understood at this point what was working and what was not working. And we listen to Amin Saleh to see what he has to say.
We are laying the groundwork for the merger, specifically through the integration of the Asayish and the internal security forces. And we have reached a point where those who do not accept the merger are leaving the forces. We are even putting pressure on members who question matters on social media.
And actually what he's saying that they are pushing for this on the security forces level, but some from their own recruits are not willing yet to merge completely with the Syrian official security forces. And we understand that even though on the security level it is merging, we still have the military level, we still have the administrative level, we still have the judiciary, because up to this point, and even the prison system is still held by Kurdish forces. And things practical of daily life, for example, if you want to make an ID, you have to go to Aleppo. If you want to declare a death, if someone died in Kobani during the war, he's not declared in Aleppo, which create administrative turmoil for the inhabitants of those regions. And those two administrations, up to now, did not merge.
Well, many Kurds who still want autonomy for that part of Syria.
Yes.
But of course, Syria's Kurds are not a monolith. There are several factions.
Yes, exactly. And I got the opportunity also to meet three main political parties in Kobani. We have the picture also of it. The PYD, which is like the most important fighting force. And you will see Öcalan, the head of the PKK, imprisoned in Turkey, in the offices of the PYD, because they still believe in the words of Öcalan and they still want autonomy. As you say, it's a good point that you are talking about. And Khalil Bouzan, that we see here in the picture, is still very wary about what was declared by Syrian presidency regarding the rights of the Kurds, because he wants it to be in the constitution. He still wants autonomy, but one important thing he said we are not represented in the new Syrian assembly. Knowing that, and I asked him this, they boycotted the elections, actually. You see, so we still have turmoil. I saw another political party which is very close to the PYD and to which belongs the head of the security of Kobane. This is the PDKS party, and they still have the same ideology, if I may say, as the PYD, but they accept the fact that their rewarders remain in Syria, but have a certain autonomy, and they think that it is good already that the Syrian authorities accepted, for example, small things of daily life by accepting the exams that were passed by students in the northeast. They accepted the results in Damascus. And the most important encounter I had was with the Anakase, which are, and we have pictures of it too, which are people who are followers of Barzani in Iraqi Kurdistan. Those people were oppressed by the YPG and by the Syrian Democratic Forces, and still today they have the opportunity or the window to express themselves even in Kobani. Muhammad, who I talked to, actually was also appointed by Syrian government as head of the region, but he told me, we don't have a building to exert our authority because the Syrian Democratic Forces don't want to give us this building. And he is still very afraid of what we call the revolutionary youth, which, as he says, belongs to the PKK. And those people don't want the merger to happen, actually, as he said.
All right. And Wassim, you're there in a city that's predominantly Kurdish. However, you have the return of some Syrian Arabs to Kobani.
Exactly, because Kobani is also a region called Ain al-Arab, and I got the opportunity to go to Ash-Shuyukh. Ash-Shuyukh, the inhabitants were pushed out 10 years ago during the war against the Islamic State, and we have footage of Shuyukh. Here it is. People are starting to go back to their homes on the Euphrates, and the important thing about it is that the YPG, or the Syrian Democratic Forces, used those homes as a front line. And here you see the tunnels, and I went into the tunnel. In each and every home in this area of Ash-Shuyukh, you have the house destroyed, a tunnel in the house, and even booby-trapped. So you'll see this tunnel in a bit, and we're talking about huge military tunnels. It's not just small holes in the ground. And here it is, and you cannot tell at what time it ends. And here another tunnel. We cannot film all the houses, but we are talking about military tunnels. Maybe we'll leave the footage a bit just to see.
Built by the Kurds?
Yes, because it was a front line, actually. They pushed the Arab population out, and they used it as a front line 10 years, for 10 years long. And even the coalition helped them at the time because it was in the wake of the war against the Islamic State. So here, part of the tunnels, and I also saw some explosive devices that are still found by the inhabitants when we have the footage of it, knowing that 150 tons of explosive were taken out by Syrian government authorities since they took over the region. And here are IEDs, which I put there by inhabitants waiting for Syrian authorities to come and take them out. And the important thing also about this is that Majduddin al-Sheikh and the security apparatus in the area are working on clanic issues. We have pictures of clanic meetings between Kurdish clans and Arab clans that were taking place in order to stabilize the area. And one person playing a big role in it is also he's called Jihad Isa Sheikh. He's the counsel or the advisor of Shara regarding clanic issues. We have a picture of him in his office in Aleppo, because they are focusing on the clans, because clans were marginalized by the Islamic State, by the Syrian Democratic Forces, and by Assad. So they are trying to pacify the society from below through the clans and through making clans talk together. Here is the picture, and I also met Jihad Isa Sheikh in my last visit to talk about all this. Thank you.
عادي يعني احنا بالعكس ما عندنا اي مشكله معهم صراحه ما نختلف معهم بالقصه الاول عز الامور ترجع رجعنا بس الفكره هاي تبعيتهم ما مستحيل انك تقنعه انه انت ابن البلد ابن سوريا هو هاي الفكره نازعها من راسه ما عاد يحطها براسه انه انت ابن سوريا انت كردي ابن سوريا مثلك مثل المسيحي مثل الاشوري مثل اليزيدي مثل اي انسان موجود على ارض هاي سوريا لا هو يقول لك انا كردستان ورجافا والاقليم والهذا ما عاد يقتنع انه هذا البلد لي ولك
الوضع صعب يعني
صعب تشيل الفكره.
This is what I was talking about, actually. People who are coming back, this is one of the representatives of the Arab of Shuyukh, are still afraid of the Kurds. And the Kurds are afraid of the Arabs. So the work on the clanic level is very, very important. Maybe we can end by the picture of a huge clanic reunion between Kurdish clans and Arab clans. And it will be the end of our intervention.
All right, many thanks for that, Wassim Nasr. Just back from Kobani, that Syrian town that is at the Turkish border.